Hello, and welcome to the Cybersecurity Awareness Webinar. My name is Andy Zook, and I'm the presenter today. A little about myself. I have more than 35 years of IT experience. In 2008, I formed Aspire Business Solutions, which is a managed service provider in the Oklahoma City metro area. Too many businesses struggle to manage their IT needs while growing their company. Aspire Business Solutions provides comprehensive IT solutions that are built to work with your business as you grow. I've been protecting corporations from cybercrime my whole career. So why is this webinar important? First, some recent stats. Nearly 1 billion emails were exposed last year, affecting 1 in 5 internet users. Data breaches cost businesses an average of $4.35 million in 2022. Around 236 million ransomware attacks occurred globally in the first half of 2022. 80% of reported cyber crimes are generally attributed to phishing attacks in the technology sector. Because of the greatly enhanced cybercrime threat since the beginning of the pandemic, the extreme cost of each cybercrime event, and the threat posed by social engineering, insurance carriers supplying cyber liability coverage are requiring their policyholders to train their employees annually for cybersecurity awareness training. This webinar sets out to check that box for companies who are trying to qualify for cyber liability coverage. Even if this is not the reason for you being here today, it is still valuable information that could prevent a disastrous cybercrime event from occurring in your business. After all, no one wants to be that person. We have a lot of information to cover. I realize that this is not the most interesting subject matter, and I've tried to keep things light and somewhat entertaining along the way. So let's jump in. Social engineering. Social engineering is defined as the psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. Here are a couple of examples. Your boss sends you an email and issues an urgent request for you to go to Target and purchase gift cards. Then scratch off and reveal the activation codes and reply to the email with those codes. Except your boss did not send that email. Some bad actor posing as your boss is making the request. The bogus email is so well done that you don't even question its legitimacy. The urgency of the request is also part of the scam. If the bad actor can elicit a panic response from you, they know that this tends to short circuit rational thought. It's a psychological phenomenon called fight or flight response, also known as lizard brain. Another example, you receive an email from, quote, Microsoft that indicates your password is going to expire and you will lose access to your account and Office products. If you click the link, you'll be walked through the process to update your password. The link takes you to a Microsoft login prompt. However, it's not a Microsoft site at all, but a website operated by a bad actor. Once you key in your login and password, they've got it. Now they can log into your email using your login and password. The biggest social engineering attack of all time, as far as we know, was perpetrated against two of the world's biggest companies, Google and Facebook. The bad actor set up a fake company, pretending to be a computer manufacturer that worked with Google and Facebook. The scammers then sent phishing emails to specific Google and Facebook employees, invoicing them for goods and services that the real manufacturer had genuinely provided, but directing them to deposit money into their fraudulent accounts. Between 2013 and 2015, the scammer and his associates cheated the two tech giants out of over $100 million. Chinese plane parts manufacturer FACC lost nearly 60 million in a so-called CEO fraud scam where scammers impersonated high-level executives and tricked employees into transferring funds. These are only a few of the many types of phishing exploits you might encounter. We will go over the most common ones later in this presentation. What can you do to protect yourself and your company? Be ever vigilant. It's not paranoia to think that someone's out to get you. Sadly, it's true. Stay alert and be very suspicious. Trust your senses. If it seems off or odd, you're probably being scammed. Social media. Be careful what you post about yourself or your company via social media. Answers to security questions can probably be guessed by bad actors looking at your social media. Bad actors can also gain detailed personal information that can then be used to trick your friends to think they are communicating with you when it is really someone masquerading as you and maliciously engaging with them. For example, when armed with your birthday, social security number, middle name, mother's maiden name, and the like, combined with educated guesses about where you bank or keep retirement accounts, they can reset your password and pillage your accounts. Too much of this type of detail is easily found on most social media platforms. Enable privacy on your social media platforms so that only your friends and followers can see private information about you. Don't accept friend requests from strangers. Don't click on links to update your personal details. Instead, visit the platform's support pages to see what updating is needed and how and when to do it. Don't use the same password for all your accounts. Once one of them is stolen, all of your accounts will be in jeopardy. Don't ignore prompts to update your operating system. Many attacks exploit unpatched vulnerabilities in operating systems. Strong passwords are considered strong because of the length of time it would take a computer system to guess or crack the password. The process of using a powerful computer system to guess or crack a password is called a brute force attack. Strong passwords should take years for the strongest computer systems to guess. Passwords. Strong passwords have the following characteristics: 8 to 16 characters, no repeat of characters. Characters should include numbers, letters, upper and lowercase, and punctuation marks. Don't use the same password for any two systems. If a bad actor gets one of your passwords, they only win access to one system, not every account you have. Limit their attack surface. Don't reuse old passwords. The dark web keeps old passwords forever. Forever. Use a password manager like Bitwarden. Password managers store passwords for you so you don't need to remember them all. You only need to remember one strong password. Password managers can generate strong passwords that are unique to each account. Password managers can automatically log you into your web-based accounts. You can store more than passwords in the password manager, things like location of important documents, memberships, and medical information. You can securely share your password for shared accounts. You can use the same password manager across multiple devices. Most password managers have a utility to search for breached passwords. Leverage this feature to keep your password list secure by getting rid of passwords already known to be compromised or weak. Multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor or two-factor authentication is a method to authenticate into an account using something you know, your password, and something you have, typically your phone. The idea is that the odds of a bad actor getting both your password and your device are very slim. If you lock your phone with a PIN, then you've increased your security significantly. There are a few methods of MFA. Authenticator. Google and Microsoft both make an authenticator app that generates a random code every 60 seconds. When accessing your account with MFA, you'll be prompted to look up that code and enter it after you type your password. There's a variation of this which uses push notification, where your phone will prompt you to accept or deny the access request. If another user tries to log in with your password, your phone will ask you to approve or deny. If you are not the person logging in, you can deny the attempt and the unauthorized user is denied access. SMS, text messaging. A code is texted to your phone. You'll then need to enter this code after you correctly enter your password. This method is quickly becoming insecure as bad actors are finding ways to hack SMS data. Email. A code is emailed to you. You will be required to enter this code after you correctly enter your password. Since email can easily be compromised, this method is not ideal. However, it's better than nothing. An emailed code may keep your email from being compromised. Most all insurance carriers providing cyber liability coverage now require their insured to utilize MFA for email access and, in some cases, even VPN connections. Email. Research by Deloitte found that 91% of all cyber attacks begin with an email. Be alert and suspicious of email attachments. Double check the sender's email address and not just their name. Let's look at two different emails. This email is from Bob Smith at Smithco. Bob Smith is giving payment details for an invoice. This email is also from Bob Smith, but is it? Notice the domain names are different. Both domains are legitimate domains. This is why your spam filters or protection service might not have triggered. Smithcompany.com is a registered domain name. This is what makes this exploit so effective. The person at smithcompany.com is up to no good. The account number they gave for the transfer is not a Smithco account, but a hacker's offshore account. Also, it should be noted that a sender's email account might have been hacked, and the bad actor is sending you a loaded attachment or an embedded link to a phishing site, as well as doctored account numbers for financial transactions. The hacked party might not even be aware that they've been compromised. Be wary of emails and email attachments sent from unknown people or unexpected sources. This email was one I received while putting this presentation together. It is a common scam where you receive an email confirming a purchase that you did not make. Notice the email address says nowhere on it that it's from Geek Squad or Best Buy. When you call the number to have the charge reversed, which was really never charged to your account in the first place, the hacker, posing as a support person, requests access to your computer. On your screen, they make it appear that they are issuing a refund. In the process, they mistype the number. Instead of typing $699.67, they type $6,999.67. Now, none of this that they're doing is actually real. They ask you to sign into your bank account from your PC that they are remoted into to confirm the mistaken amount was indeed transferred to your bank account. But when you type your password, they blank your screen and manipulate the web page content to make it look like you did get a big deposit. To quote, correct the situation, they ask you to go to your bank and withdraw the mistakenly transferred cash from your bank account and purchase gift cards with that cash. Then they instruct you to give them the gift cards' activation codes. With that, they can redeem the gift cards and thus steal your money with your assistance. If you want to know more about these kind of scams and be entertained by scammers getting bested at their own game, search for Scammer Payback on YouTube. The host, Pierogi, makes it his purpose to disrupt these criminals. Beware of links embedded in attached documents. Many times, these are phishing exploits. More about that in a moment. Just know to be wary of links in emails. Disable macros in your Office products. Many malware attacks are hiding in Word or Excel documents as macros that run when you open a document or a spreadsheet. If you see this yellow banner at the top of your document, close the file at once and notify IT immediately. Trust your instincts. If it seems odd or off, stop and get assistance to clear the questionable email. Better to be safe than sorry. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Be cautious regarding any requests that involve money or assets. If your boss emails you to send money or purchase something, confirm in person or with a phone call before doing it. Don't confirm with an email. Just assume the bad guys are watching that. Your endpoint protection software should filter out most all of the email exploits mentioned above. But the best software is limited in its capabilities. There's still no substitute for the human brain.
I spent my money on the Clapco D29. It's the most impenetrable lock on the market today. It has only one design flaw. The door Must be closed!
Phishing, a technique for attempting to acquire sensitive data, such as bank account numbers, through a fraudulent solicitation in email or on a website in which the perpetrator masquerades as a legitimate business or reputable person. Let's look at four of the most common types of phishing attacks. Deceptive. A bad actor impersonates a familiar and trusted company, like Microsoft, Apple, Geek Squad, or Norton, to get sensitive information from you like password, bank account number, social security number, etc. They're not personal and are sent out in bulk, called spray and pray, to catch whoever they can. This is the most common type. The example we showed earlier of an email notifying the recipient that their email password is expired is a classic deceptive phishing exploit. Once the user clicks the link, they are taken to a login prompt that is a well-constructed forgery designed to extract your password from you. Spear phishing. Bad actors impersonate a familiar person or company to get sensitive information. This attack is personal and may include personal details that are designed to make the mark think they are communicating with the real person. This information can be gathered from the company website or even personal social media accounts. The example we mentioned earlier in this presentation about a hacker taking Google and Facebook for millions was an example of a spear phishing attack. Whaling. The bad actor attempts to compromise a high-level executive's email account in order to issue a number of financial requests that will likely be carried out before the compromised executive is aware of the breach. A few years ago, the Snapchat HR staff received an email from Chief Executive Evan Spiegel, who appeared to request payroll information about some current and former employees. As you expect, someone answered him and sent the requested information. If a high-level executive's email credentials are compromised, a lot of sensitive information can be gathered quickly before people catch on. Smishing, or SMS text message phishing. The bad actor sends text messages that encourage the user to click a link to a site designed to steal passwords or bank account numbers. Unlike email, your mobile phones don't have strong filters to block text messages containing spam or smishing attempts. That's why cyber criminals like to target individuals via texts. It's easier to get fake text delivered to you compared to phishing emails. In this smishing example, the cybercriminal used a fake spoofed phone number and sent a text message claiming a package was sent. The link also is suspicious since it's not clear who the sender is based on the URL. Getting access to your financial information is extremely valuable to hackers, but it's also a bit tricky to hack. They'll need your account login credentials and possibly a two-factor authentication code to gain access. One of the ways they accomplish this is by sending you a message that is claiming there is an urgent situation. For example, take a look at this real smishing text. The sender poses as a credit union with a spoofed phone number and claims a hold has been placed on the account. It also sends an unsolicited link to resolve the issue. Remember, the most effective way for the bad guys to get what they want from you is to instill panic in you. Once they have achieved that, you're more likely to give away sensitive personal information. Before you know it, they will have cleaned you out. The key to avoiding getting hooked by a phishing attack is to stay alert and cautious. Be suspicious of any requests for financial transactions in emails or text messages, emails or texts alerting you to an urgent situation requiring immediate action, and emails or text messages to take you to a site that requires you to log on. Some companies run phishing tests. This is where pre-selected phishing style emails are sent to employees. If an employee clicks a dangerous link, they're immediately notified of the fact and are led through a short training series to educate the user, preventing future dangerous activity. If your company conducts this type of test and you get caught, make sure you complete the training. Reports are generated to management that indicate who has taken the bait, and it also informs them who has cooperated with the training that follows. The purpose of these tests is twofold. One, to see which, if any, employees are susceptible to such an exploit, and two, to address the issue with immediate training. This helps protect the company from being compromised by this insidious type of social engineering. Now let's talk about ransomware. Ransomware is malware, software intended for bad purposes, i.e., virus, that when executed scrambles the data in a computer system, effectively locking the users out of their data. The bad actor will then request the payment of a ransom in return for a decryption key. Sometimes the decryption key is non existent or does not decrypt the data. The ransoms are typically paid in Bitcoin, which is an untraceable currency. Ransomware is typically delivered to a system when clicking a link in an email, opening an infected email attachment, or running an infected program. Your endpoint protection program should filter out these programs, but there's no substitute for the cautious and responsible end user. Aside from alert, conscientious, and responsible actions from end users, the next best defense against ransomware are good backups. Good backups should have the following three characteristics: three distinct copies of the data. Data should be stored in two different kinds of media, like a local USB drive and a tape backup device. And one copy should be kept off site, such as a cloud backup. Being able to recover data from a good backup can save your company time in recovery and possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars in ransom fees. Internet use. Heed the warnings. Most browsers will warn you if you're wandering into a questionable or dangerous situation. Don't ignore these warnings. If you get a warning, get out.
Audrey, when they close the road, they put up big signs like this one.
Watch out for pop-up scareware. Scareware masquerades as software protecting your system that maliciously alerts you to a security breach that does not exist. The object of scareware is to trick you into irrational, split-second decisions. The pop-ups have flashing warnings, and some have loud alarms and announcements shouting to all your coworkers that your PC has been infected with a virus. Some scareware can lock your browser sessions so you cannot close them. The scareware instructs the panicked user to call an 800 number for assistance. The scammer on the other side may try to get you to give them a credit card to pay for recovery services, and or will try to gain access to your PC and attempt to steal private information. All the time, your PC was never in danger. It was just an elaborate pop-up message hoax. Browser security. If you use Chrome, turn on safe browsing. It will monitor your activity and warn you of danger. If you use Microsoft Edge, turn on enhanced security. If you use Safari, turn on security warnings. If you use another browser, Google the security settings for your particular browser and enable it. Browser security features can steer you clear of many hazardous websites. Also, the endpoint security operated by your company should be watching your browser activity and stepping in to prevent disaster. Be alert. There's no substitute for just being aware and paying attention to what is going on while you're browsing the internet. It is a tragedy that a few criminals require all of us to be at a heightened level of awareness. But this is the current state of affairs. Be careful and be cautious. Next, we're going to look at the risks associated with using public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi. 3 myths about public Wi-Fi. Number 1, other devices can communicate with your device without your knowledge. This statement is true. On some public Wi-Fi networks, hackers can gain access and initiate communication with your device. This risk is real, but there are things that you can do to protect yourself. You should ensure that all company devices have the latest security patches and updates. Another effective tactic is to use a software-based firewall, such as Windows Defender Firewall built into Windows. Also, keep in mind that many current Wi Fi technologies do isolate users from each other, preventing this kind of intrusion. You can't know for sure if the public Wi Fi you are on has those features, so be careful. Number two, anyone can snoop on your web browsing and traffic on public Wi Fi. This one is a partial myth. Traffic to regular HTTP sites is visible to anyone, but HTTPS sites are encrypted. This is critical knowledge for workers using public Wi Fi. To avoid prying eyes, be aware of whether the site you visit is an HTTP or HTTPS. This is indicated by a padlock icon in the browser bar. In addition, some browsers will message you not secure if you visit HTTP sites. Pay attention to these indicators and don't view or type sensitive information on an unencrypted site. Number three, the only way to work safely on public Wi-Fi is to use a VPN connection. This statement is widespread, but it's false. Using a VPN effectively reduces the security risk of using public Wi-Fi, but it's not the only way. For example, if a VPN is not required to access internal company servers or applications, it may be redundant since traffic to and from HTTPS sites is already encrypted. Most websites anymore are encrypted. You'd be hard pressed to even find an unencrypted website. If you do, don't use it.
Now you have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do ya?
Virtual Private Network, or VPN as it's known, is a service that encrypts your data from your device to the endpoint, typically your company's local network. It was designed to allow people to have the same secure access remotely as they do when connected to the local area network at the office, hence the name Virtual Private Network. It simplifies security and makes it easy for users to securely access data and systems in a way familiar to them. Oh, and if you connect VPN to a server in London, you can watch Friends on Netflix.
Alrighty then.
Internet security is not our only concern. Physical security should also not be overlooked. On any given day, any person could waltz right into any office anywhere like they belong there and never be stopped or questioned. Many companies invest heavily in securing their networks from outside intruders, but not so much from the inside. If a bad actor can connect a device they control to the inside of a corporate network, they can cause havoc. Physical security. Don't write down passwords on post-it notes or anywhere. Don't hide them. Trust me, you suck at hiding things. Studies prove it. This is where password managers help out. If you're a gatekeeper like a receptionist, greeter, or host, don't leave your post unattended. A common ploy is for two people working together to distract a receptionist away from the desk and the other person slips past unnoticed. Be alert to strangers. If you see someone you don't know wandering around unescorted, question them. Better to be safe than sorry. Don't assume, as many do, that the people you see actually belong there. These days, that's a bad assumption. Piggybacking. If you work in a secure building requiring badge access, a common exploit is for someone to walk in right behind you after you open the door. Be wary of people loitering around secure doors. Call security, but don't let them in. Locking your workstation when you walk away. The easiest way to steal data is to access a workstation that's already been logged into. Set your workstation up to automatically lock after no more than 15 minutes of idle time. The number of minutes can vary, but 10 to 15 minutes of idle time is a good place to start. If you're in a heavy traffic area, you might want to lower that time. Don't rely on manually locking your workstation every time you walk away. No one is that disciplined. Windows 11 allows you to pair your phone with your computer such that the computer workstation will automatically lock when your phone moves away from the computer. This feature is called Dynamic Lock and is the best way to protect your workstation from unauthorized access. Be very careful about what you connect to a company computer or network. Your corporate IT team works very hard to make sure the system is secure. This can easily be undone by someone walking a virus in on a USB drive or removable hard drive brought from home. Don't connect any personal device to a corporate IT asset without IT approval first. This is also true of personal smartphone devices. Connect smartphones to public company Wi-Fi and not the private Wi-Fi unless IT has approved this. Smartphones can get infected with malware just like computers. If you connect your smartphone to the company's private Wi-Fi, you're exposing the private network to whatever virus might be on your phone. A company's public Wi-Fi service will only allow a user to connect to the internet and nothing else. Don't plug in any USB devices into workstations that you found lying around. It might seem hard to believe, but people frequently do that. The bad guys know this and plant infected USB drives in parking lots and on sidewalks to entice users to plug them into their workstations and infect a network. Your endpoint protection software should flag this activity, but you should know plugging in devices found lying around is a very bad practice. Remote working. Do's and don'ts. Since the pandemic, a great number of people are working from home either permanently or on a more frequent basis than ever before. Much of the increase in cybercrime is due to the increase of remote workers. Before remote work was commonplace, a corporate IT staff only needed to secure the local area network. Now they must be wary of threats that exist in your home that threaten the corporate network while you work remotely. Here are some tips to keep your company's resources secure when working from home. Don't use personal computers or devices to access corporate networks. Companies mindful of security will provide you with a device that they have properly secured. Any device you connect to a corporate network can expose that network to possible threats. That includes connecting a personally owned computer to a corporate network via a VPN connection. Don't install any programs on company-owned computers. Not only can personal software expose a corporate network to potential security threats, there are also federal laws that can be violated by installing licensed programs on a corporate network. Those fines can start at $250,000 per installation and can result in criminal charges. Don't do personal business like banking on company computers. This is mostly a protection for you. If a corporate network is compromised and data is being stolen, then your private information is also exposed. Don't install company software on personal computers. Not as much a security issue as a licensing one, as mentioned earlier. Change your home router's default admin password. Bad guys can connect to home networks. If you don't change the default password on your router, anyone can log into your home network and find a path to your company's corporate network. Set up your router's guest Wi-Fi access. Guest Wi-Fi only allows access to the internet and will not allow access to your company PC or your home network. If your home router does not support guest Wi-Fi access, get a new router. Create a secure private Wi-Fi connection at your home and create a strong password. Many home routers have unsecured or weak Wi-Fi passwords. If a hacker wanted to get into your company's network, the easiest path might be through your home network. Strengthening the security at home will help you at home and at the office. Endpoint protection. Previously referred to as antivirus, this is the software that runs on your workstation and monitors all activity on it and squashes all malicious activity it detects. We don't call it antivirus because the threats are broader than just malicious software. Endpoint protection expresses best the function of this software. Don't disable this software. It's there for your protection. Sometimes it may block harmless activity as malicious. These software tools are smart, but when they err on the side of being overprotective. Your IT department can fine-tune the software to ignore known safe programs. The better endpoint protection tools don't allow users to disable them. nor uninstall them. This is for your protection and the protection of corporate resources and data. Your workstation is the front line of cyber protection, and the endpoint protection software is the first line of defense. Make sure you know what software you're running and check it regularly to make sure it's running and up to date. Be informed about your specific brand of endpoint protection software and its basic operation. If your endpoint protection system alerts you to a threat, don't panic. You're not infected, just the opposite. Your endpoint protection software is doing its job and it's letting you know that you are just protected. Also, if you receive such a notification, you should think back on the activity you were just involved in and evaluate if your behavior resulted in that action by your endpoint protection software. What websites, downloads, or emails were you just in? Could they have had a virus attached? Your IT department will also likely receive a notification that your workstation detected and blocked an attack. What to do if you fell for one of these exploits? Immediately notify IT and/or your direct supervisor. Your company should have a plan to respond to cybercrime. Let them take over and execute their plan. Shut down your PC. If something is working its way through the network, you might stop it or slow it down by shutting down your PC. If you've been locked out of your workstation, pull the plug. When in doubt, if you have been compromised, ask an IT expert to assess the situation. Do it quick. Time is of the essence. Don't follow instructions issued on the screen. When panicked, our natural tendency is to react. Don't. Take a deep breath. It's likely not as bad as you think. Let cooler heads prevail. Don't be like this guy.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
This concludes the Cybersecurity Awareness webinar. I know this is a lot of information. I hope it was helpful, informative, and at times a little entertaining. If you would like to visit with Aspire Business Solutions about your company's IT needs or to discuss how your company can better be protected from cybercrime, please feel free to contact us through our website at aspireokc.com and book an appointment with a consultant. Be alert and be safe. Thank you for your time.
That's all, folks.